God, you can have that little room in there, but all this area out here, like I want for me. But like you God, you just go in that little area there. Like stay in there, the holy place, right? But the rest of this place, like we want to use it for other things. So God wants like our whole heart, right? He wants to dwell everywhere. They probably thought they were okay because of what they were doing wasn't in the Holy of Holies. They weren't, but Jesus is like, this whole place is for the worship of God, which I think is just like he wants our whole hearts. Welcome to another study of the life of Christ. Today we are looking at Jesus clearing the temple for the first time. This is the big thing we got to talk about right away. There's other gospels that record Jesus clearing the temple, but as we're studying the life chronologically, we had a choice here, and there's different opinions that on John's account here of clearing the temple, and a lot of people may put this account parallel with the other Mark, with Mark has it and Matthew has it. But they have it very clearly near like Jesus' last week of life, in like Passion Week. Mm-hmm. And this very clearly is placed early on in John, like it's in the timeline, right? He just gathered disciples, he just did the wedding at Cana miracle, and then it says he went to the Passover. And like I've said before, I don't know if you remember, how do we get the idea that Jesus' ministry was 3 years long of active ministry? Yes, John specifically has 3 Passovers recorded, 3 different times. That's an annual event that Jesus went to Jerusalem for the Passover. So I'm of the opinion, and not everyone is, that this account of Jesus clearing the temple is a separate event. It's very similar. Jesus clears out the money changers and the people selling stuff from the temple to him doing it 3 years later, 2 years later, when near the end of his life. So I'm putting it here as a separate event that happened at the beginning of his ministry, and he does it again at the end of his ministry.
I'm curious what the harmonies do.
The harmony puts it as a separate event.
So it doesn't have any parallels.
Correct. So if you look up your harmony, page 50. This is a harmony of the Gospels, guys. It's cool. It has all 4 Gospels, and then when the stories are in multiple Gospels, it puts them in a column next to each other. So this is what I'm using mainly for our study, and our harmony puts it as a separate event. It's chronologically laid out.
So it'd be the first of 2 temple clearings.
Yes.
There will be another one recorded in 2 other Gospels during Passover.
So if you look here, section 31, it's labeled First Cleansing of the Temple at Passover. So we can call it the first one because I believe there was 2. But again, not everyone does. Also, we're tracking Jesus' life. I'm going to say we know very clearly Jesus' ministry started when he was 30. And then there's 3 Passovers. So I'm going to say Jesus is 31 now. Jesus had a birthday, maybe. I don't know. We don't know when his birthday is.
He was born on Christmas.
But no, most likely we talked about when. When did
Summer.
we think? Spring.
April. Oh.
So Passover also happens in spring, right? Remember, Passover and Easter are connected, same week. Remember that?
Because Jesus was doing the Last Supper, right? And they quickly arrested him, crucified him before the Passover.
No,
right
Passover
after.
is on Thursday.
Oh, and then right
so
after.
that Last
before
Supper.
the Sabbath.
Yes.
They wanted to do it before the Sabbath.
Right. That the Passover happens on the Thursday. Whoa, major fly. So I don't know when Jesus' birthday is, but we're gonna start saying, because we're tracking his life in the timeline. He's 31. Happy birthday, Jesus. So this is Passover 1 of the recorded 3.
Oh yeah, 3 recorded Passover.
And where are we? We need people. Who wants to move the disciples? I saw Olivia's first. Everyone put your hands down. Who wants to move Jesus? That didn't work at all.
May I please?
Pick a number between 1 and 100.
Between 3.
50.
50.
67.
Yes, number?
50.
70.
Number? What?
3.
Number?
35.
Number?
20.
Number?
67.
Number?
99.
Number? No? Okay, it was Micah. It was 87 and you picked 70. I think that's the closest. No, is 99 closer?
You picked
Who's 99?
99 is closer.
And it's closer. I think Albert got it.
All right, it's Albert. Sorry, Micah. All right, we need to move the disciples to Jerusalem. Our story starts off when it was almost time for the Jewish. This is John 2:13. It was almost time for the Jewish Passover. Jesus went up to Jerusalem. So disciples and Jesus. We knew no later the disciples are with him. It doesn't say it right here. And Jesus to Jerusalem. Why does it say Jesus went up to Jerusalem? What do we notice? Where were they?
It's on a hill.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
who calls, like when we go up to Canada and we go down to Seattle? Who says things that way?
Nora.
Yes? Would we go, did you guys come up to Washington from Argentina? And you go back down to Argentina, right? Like, that's how we think of our globe. North is up, down is south, right? So the Bible does not think that way. So we would say they went from Cana up to down to Jerusalem, right? It's down, it's south. But they literally say up because, Isa, you nailed it. It is uphill.
It's
You
elevation.
were joking.
You were joking, but that's what they say. Jerusalem is like a high, on a hill city. It's like strategically defendable and up high on elevation. There's not big giant mountains in Israel, not like our mountains. Was it on purpose?
Yeah.
Yes. So Jerusalem was a city called Zion before, and David actually moved the capital to Jerusalem because he just loved that city. But it was a city before that they conquered on
Did
the.
he keep the name and just change the location? Or not? David.
I forget.
Something reminds me that like he actually just moved the location but kept the name.
And he renamed it from Zion to
remember.
Jerusalem,
Can't
I
do
think. Anyway, Jerusalem was a really cool city, and it's uphill. And so they would be going to Cana. It would be almost from Cana, almost uphill all the way. We went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and it was because the trail was easier because it was a
Yeah.
it was a
That was
downhill
really nice
hike.
of them.
Yes. We didn't have to go up to Jerusalem. But also, in the Psalms, if you read, sometimes there's Psalms of ascent. Ascent means what? To climb up. So there was special psalms that they would sing as they were going up to Jerusalem. They would go to Jerusalem at least 3 times a year, sometimes more, for the festivals. Passover being the main one that everybody
And
would go
some
to
of the
Jerusalem for.
songs were about stepping up on the steps of the
Yes,
Temple Mount.
and there's even some songs that match, like the short step, long step of the steps to the temple. But we're going to talk about the temple today, so cool. Anyway, side note, I'm distracted. Where are we? All right.
Do you want us to read around the room?
Yeah, let's do that. Who wants to read? We'll start. I read 13. Jessica, start 14.
Okay, just read one verse.
Yes.
In the temple area, he saw merchants selling cattle, sheep, and doves for sacrifices. He also saw dealers at tables exchanging foreign money.
Autumn, do you want to read? 15.
So he made a whip out of cords and drove all changers and overturned their tables. Drove all from the temple area, the sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables.
Okay, we should have paused earlier, but that's okay. So we are in the temple courts, and so I have a picture here. This is one thing I was confused about, because as I was reading this, I was looking at this picture, and this is a picture of like the smaller area of the temple, and like I was reading this, and I'm like, he's in the temple courts, but then every commentary I read was like, it's in the Gentile courts, which here is labeled like on the outside of the temple. And then I was like, maybe they were inside, like this is called the women's courtyard, and then this is like the Jewish courtyard and priest courtyard. So if you were a Gentile, you could not go in this place. You could go around here, but you could not enter. And if you were a woman, you couldn't go into this part. You could only go this far. And so I was like confused. But then I found this picture, which shows the whole Temple Mount. And so this whole area is also the temple. And so this larger area around the inner wall is where this was all happening. So it wasn't totally inside the temple area, but it would have been in what's known as the Gentile courtyard. If you were Jewish, you could go, if you were not Jewish, you could go into this area where they were selling things. So there's lots of different opinions on this about like why Jesus did this. He does explain himself, but there's also some other insights we can learn. But basically, in the temple courts, people were selling animals for sacrifices and also exchanging money. Who's ever gone to another country and had to exchange currency? Like even Canada. We did it all the time in Argentina. Okay, funny story, Argentina. So I gave their dad, Eric, like $300, three $100 bills. And he, US dollars. And he gave me like $20,000, I think. It was like multiple stacks of pesos, Argentine pesos, that my 3 paper bills turned into hundreds of stacks of money. It was crazy.
And don't you have to have a backpack at that point for that?
Yeah, like when your dad bought his car, he had like a backpack stuffed full of cash, he told me.
He had to bring a friend with him because he was scared.
It's just like they had massive inflation. Anyway, so exchanging money. So people would come here and exchange money. Now, this is an opportunity for people to make money because they can take a cut. And so this became a business. And it's also suspected that people were taking advantage of foreigners here and ripping them off in the exchange and maybe selling really high prices for their animals. But either way, if that was happening or not, Jesus was upset by all this.
Okay, side note, I need to interject.
Yes.
Okay, have you ever gone to Mexico and wanted your hair braided on the beach?
Yes.
And they start charging you like $30 US, but really, the locals and people are like, that's literally a $3 thing. Like, you have to talk them down. There's so much taking advantage of the foreigner who doesn't understand the market, the value of things. And I remember having like the number, like someone told me, this is what you actually should pay. Don't believe them when they say this. I mean, do you have that in Argentina at all? Like,
They see you're a foreigner and
they see you're a foreigner and they like set the price really high.
They call it the gringo tax.
Right.
The gringo
so I just
tax.
imagine I'm putting myself in this scenario, and I'm a Gentile, and I'm coming to like check out the temple, or maybe I have heard of the one true God, of the God of the Israelites, and I'm gonna maybe like participate in this cultural thing. Maybe I don't believe in the Lord, but then you enter this marketplace, and I wonder how people were treated, and I wonder if they were treated like, oh, look at that gringo tax or whatever, I can get a really good exchange here. I don't know.
To
I'm
be
just
clear,
using my imagination.
To be clear, the Bible doesn't explain that part of it, but many people have interpreted that out of this.
I'm using my imagination.
Because of what's specifically mentioned. Also, a couple notes of difference that maybe give us an idea that this was a separate event. This is the only account where Jesus makes a whip out of cords. The other ones, it doesn't say he did that. And this is only the only one that mentions the cattle, I think. The other ones don't. The sheep, or the doves specifically, are for poorer people. It was like an option. If you couldn't afford a sheep for the sacrifice, you could do a dove. It was like a discount for poorer people, a cheaper option if you couldn't afford a sheep. So that's also what they kind of like. If Jesus is upset about the people selling doves, maybe they're taking advantage even of the poorer people. But also, people who maybe were more well off would have their own animals to bring. They wouldn't have to go and buy it. They would just take one out of their own herds and bring it. So these are some of the ideas of what's going on here. But this whole thing, the selling of animals, the exchanging of money, upsets Jesus, angers Jesus, okay? So this is a rare look at Jesus being angry, okay? Is anger a sin?
No.
Okay, we know that because Jesus never sinned. But like, so is it okay to just rage and be angry all the time?
Well,
If you do it right.
If you
you're
do it
allowed
right.
to be angry. It's just what you do.
There's a Bible
Your
verse that
actions.
talks about this. You guys didn't even know it.
If you sin, if your anger makes you
In
sin,
your
then
anger,
stop.
In your anger, do not
do
sin.
not
But
sin.
they're
Yeah.
allowed to be mad. It's just if you sin.
Does it matter what you're angry at?
Yes.
Yes.
If you're angry at sinful things.
Like
God has righteous anger.
Yes, that's the term I was looking for. What is righteous anger?
Miracle.
What is righteous anger?
Anger against things that are wrong.
Yeah, things that are not right. Okay, so Jesus sees this, and it is not right. Either being taken advantage of, but also like where it's happening. This should have happened outside of this area. Some of it would have been necessary, right? Like it's necessary to exchange the money. It's necessary to buy an animal for the sacrifice, but they were doing it wrong, and they were.
Okay, he
They
made
were
a whip,
dis-
but I don't see that he said he was angry.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just like, I believe you can get angry and not sin, but it just says he made a whip and was like, get out of here. He flipped
He
tables.
was zealous. Okay,
flipped
so
tables.
the words that it uses is zeal, and we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay, so he makes a whip out of cords. He drove all from the temple area, both sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins. It doesn't say he whipped anyone, but he drove them out with the whip. So I think that's important because I don't think it. Could he have righteously whipped someone? I don't know.
You probably
Maybe.
like
You just scared them.
Scattered the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. I don't know how you do this. Just like totally like, hey guys, it's not very chill. I think he was righteously
I think
angry.
there's good evidence,
I think he
but
was
I would say it's
righteous.
just also not,
Okay.
not said.
Yes. Henry, can you read 16?
To those who sold doves, he said, "Get these out of here. How dare you turn my father's house into a market?"
Okay, so here's the key of what he's upset by is how dare you turn my father's house into a market. So this literally, and we're going to talk about some interesting things because Jesus even brings it up. But this was the house of God, right? The temple. What is the house of God now?
Us.
The Grace Baptist Fellowship Church building?
No, our
Yes.
No, us. We are God's temple. His Holy Spirit dwells inside of us. Okay? So things are not the exact same, but at this time, this was disrespectful to God's house where he was dwelling. It was a misuse of the temple. That's what Jesus is implying here. Get these out of here. How dare you turn my father's house into a market? God's house was meant for what?
Worshipping God.
Worshiping God. What was it not meant for?
Market.
A marketplace.
Businesses.
Business, right? And so they were misusing the house of God for worship. Okay? Not for worship, but for business. And then his disciples, so what's cool here is we have some reflection from later, like from when this was written by John, on to like some hindsight, right? Like looking back. They remember this event, and then remembering the scripture that Micah, can you read verse 17?
His disciples remembered that it is written, "Zeal for your house will consume me."
And that's Psalm 69:9. So his disciples are remembering, wow, this was prophetic about Jesus, that he would have zeal for God's house. What is zeal? Does anyone's translation say anything different? What does your translation say?
Well, yeah, you can pick someone else.
I want to hear the translations
Okay,
first.
passion.
Passion? Yours says passion. Anyone else's translation saying? What does zeal mean, Jake?
Zeal means like righteous anger, right? Or at least anger.
No. So that is why us calling Jesus angry could be a stretch. I think it implies that. But zeal literally means excitement
Like
or
intensity.
passion.
I think of like
It
intensity.
is like directed, but it doesn't mean anger specifically. So
Like Simon the Zealot, he was zealous.
yeah, so
He was,
they're
like,
passionate,
intensely wanting
like
it.
for a cause. The Zealots were all about overthrowing the Romans, and they would do crazy stuff like assassinate Roman officials and stuff. But they were like guerrilla warfare, but but to be zealous means like to care deeply, to act excitedly, to be passionate. Passionate is my favorite definition of zeal. Like just someone who's just can you just name someone, or what are you passionate about? What's something you get super excited about when you talk about it or get to do? Yeah.
Well, obviously Minecraft, but I've
Minecraft. Okay, that's just one thing. What else?
No, we can all just nominate Henry's right now.
Henry, what do you get passionate about? Zeppelins. Yes. Like if we talk about Zeppelins, like he's all for it and he's talking. Yes. What else? And something else you're passionate about? Yes. Baseball. Great. Volleyball. Like it's just like it amps you up. You get excited about it. You're passionate about it. You want to talk about it. You want to do it. You'll spend money to do it. You'll go
Zeal,
and do it.
you're in a great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or an objective.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jesus was zealous for what?
God's house to be made right again, because the people were
Righteousness.
giving
His love for God.
Right. So for the worship of God, like that's what the house of the temple was for the worship of God. Jesus was zealous for the worship of God, for God's house to be used as a place for worship, not as market. So he got very passionate. Is that okay?
Yep, great.
Very possibly angry too, righteously angry.
We should keep moving.
All right, 18, Isley.
What chapter?
2. John 2:18.
But the Jewish leaders demanded, "What are you doing? If God gave you the authority to do this, show us a miraculous sign to prove it."
Okay, 19, Ashley.
All right, Jesus replied, destroy this temple and in 3 days I will raise it up.
And 20, Elijah.
What, they exclaimed, it has taken 46 years to build this temple, and you can rebuild it in 3 days?
And 21. Do you have it, Jake? Two 21.
But when Jesus said, "This temple," he meant his own body.
And after he was raised from the dead, his disciples recalled what he had said, and they believed the scripture and the words that Jesus had spoken. So the Jews, maybe the religious leaders, it just is a general term, the Jews demand of him, show us a sign that you're allowed to do this, basically. Like, who are you that you come in and start turning the tables over and kicking out? Like, who is this guy? Like, and they maybe they knew about him because they're asking about miraculous signs. That probably indicates they've heard he could do a miracle. That's what I think. But like, what?
Well, in this case, it follows the wedding at Cana, right?
Yes.
So he's really only done that miracle.
So maybe his reputation's preceded him. Maybe that's.
But they're also calling him out. Like, show us a sign that you are.
Maybe
You're
it's just
talking a
general.
big talk. You're in this temple, messing things up. Like, what authority do you have?
They're asking for his authority, and then like who do you represent? Like, who are you with? It's kind of like a lot of questions. Jesus answers very interestingly here with basically an untestable. What they hear as is like an untestable thing. Tear down the temple, and I'll rebuild it in 3 days. Do you think they're gonna do that?
No.
No. But the disciples, again, reflecting later, remember Jesus saying this, and they realize, oh, he wasn't talking about the physical temple building, right? He wasn't talking about this building. He was talking about his body, which they tore down, and he rebuilt in 3 days, right? In the resurrection. So super cool. But again, hindsight, revealed that to them. So, the Jews asked for a sign for his authority, and the disciples make this connection. I just love how Jesus responds to all his opposition. He's always has like ridiculous, hilarious, perfect answers that just stump them, and this is one of them. So why do you think Jesus says this? Why do you think he responds in this way? Why doesn't he do a miracle just to show it to them, to show his authority? Yeah.
It's not for he doesn't do them for himself. He does it for other people, for God's will.
Yeah, yes. And often, like, he's doing it so that people will believe and, doing it based on people's faith, too. These people didn't believe in him.
Well, they're saying, give me a sign that you have authority. He's like, oh, you're going to get your sign. This temple's going to be torn down. It's going to be rebuilt. He's just saying, you wait.
Yeah.
Like, the time is coming where the sign will be clear.
Yeah. There's a little section here that's really transitionary between this and what we're going to do next week, which is Nick at night. Nicodemus comes to Jesus at night. John 3:16.
The born again thing?
Yes. It says, now while he was in Jerusalem at the Passover feast, many people saw the miraculous signs he was doing. So, why I say like they probably knew he was doing miraculous signs, not all of Jesus' miracles were recorded. So we've heard only about one miraculous sign, the wedding into wine, but he's doing other ones that aren't recorded here. So it's very possible they knew of his other miraculous signs. Many people saw the miraculous signs he was doing and believed in his name. That's cool. But this is interesting. Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all men. He did not need man's testimony about man, for he knew what was in a man. So basically, people were believing in him or seeing his miracles, but not believing in their heart. Like is the application I've heard of this. And what's a transition to Nicodemus in the conversation is you have to believe in me, be born again. You have to believe it with your heart. And so a lot of he was attracting a lot of attention with his miracles, but not a lot of true believers yet. Fans
and not followers.
Ooh, that's good. Fans and not followers. And so Jesus was, guarding himself against these kind of fake followers by not fully entrusting, not choosing them to be his disciples. He still only had a few disciples and hasn't called the 12 yet. And so this is really Jesus' first big encounter with the religious leaders, his big first thing that he did. This would have gathered a lot of attention. Like everyone would be talking about it. Everybody's in Jerusalem for the Passover. This event happens. Like it would have put Jesus' name on all the newspapers if they had them, but they didn't. Everybody would be talking about him and hearing about him, and then the miracles that he's doing around Jerusalem. This is Jesus on the big stage now. This is a transition point where Jesus goes from very obscure in Nazareth to somewhat obscure. John the Baptist is talking about him. He's gathering some groups of disciples. Now almost everybody is talking about him. So a lot of things have changed very quickly, but quite a bit of time, some time has passed for sure with his disciples. Okay, so we go our how, what, how, and why. So Jesus' passion for the sacred worship in the house of God leads him to drive out those who were abusing it. So we see Jesus' love for worship in the house of God. I was thinking back to Jesus as 12 years old. And it's really interesting. And this weekend I was with some youth pastors, and our leader brought up the fact that Jesus, at the baptism, which we talked about, God said, I love you and I'm well pleased with you. And he hadn't really, that we see, done much yet, right? And God was already pleased with him. And the connection I made to Jesus at 12 years old thought he should be in the temple, but he went back with his parents and was obedient to them. Like, that's a big thing that Jesus did that God was pleased with him with. Like, was his obedience to his family. Like, he thought his path was different. He thought basically from 12 on, he would just live at the temple and work there. So Jesus' love for a temple, I just made that connection to when he was 12 years old, loving the temple. 12 years old would have been his first time as a young boy being able to go into the inner court. And before, he would have stayed with the women in the women and children's area. So he loved the worship of God. He loved the temple. He loved his Father's house. And this is revealing of that. So his passion for worship led him to drive out those who were abusing it. So why did Jesus do this? Does Jesus want us to to throw tables and
Bring some whips.
make a whip when things are going wrong. I think Jesus models what righteous anger looks like in a way that he's angry at something, he's zealous and passionate for the right things. Like, we can get angry when someone, probably most of the time, if we get angry or really excited and upset about something, it's probably because of selfishness. It's probably someone's bugging us, someone's stolen something from us, done something to annoy us. It's usually not for the right things. It can be, but that's really the only time it would be right to get this excited, is when someone is abusing someone else or doing something so wrong that disrespecting the worship of God. But I also want to make a connection. The temple was this building then, and we said, what is the temple now? Our hearts. So, how do we make our temples a marketplace? Or how do we misuse our hearts, which are made for the worship of God? How do we often do that? Yeah, Jake?
We sin and we disobey God.
Yeah. Yeah, how else do we clutter
We
our
give
hearts
to the
with market?
wrong things.
Yeah.
I would like what Jessica just said. Give our hearts to like modern idols.
Yeah, we use our worship, which is deserved for God, and we give it to other things, right?
Well, I
And
just
so-
think you guys raised your hand, like, what are you zealous for? And you guys all said stuff, but like those things can become modern idols, right? So we can give our hearts to what we're zealous for instead of being zealous for God as well.
So I think those are very true connections in what Jesus observed and what upset him and what stirred passion up, zeal inside of him, was the worship, a place that was supposed to be for the worship of God being used for something else. So that too should upset us and upsets Jesus when our hearts that are the temple of God for the Holy Spirit, our bodies are a temple designed for the worship of God, when we misuse that worship, when we misuse our temples for other things. So Jesus modeled what righteous anger looks like, and for us, our application, are we blank? What's the blank? Are we passionate?
Good job.
Correct.
Yes, passionate.
Are we passionate for the same things Jesus was?
Passionate. Ooh.
Passionate.
Yes, spelled it right.
Are we passionate about the same things Jesus was? Are we blank the temple of God? Any guesses? Abusing?
You're close. You're on
No,
the right lane.
very close.
Misusing?
Yeah.
Misusing,
misusing.
correct. Are we misusing the temple of God, which is what we were talking about? Our temple of God is our hearts. He wants to dwell inside of us. Are we look at if you think about your heart and your life as different areas, are we saying like, oh God, you can have that little room in there, but all this area out here, like I want for me. But like God, you just go in that little area there. Like stay in that, stay in there, the holy place, right? But the rest of this place, like we want to use it for other things. So God wants like our whole heart, right? He wants to dwell everywhere. They probably thought they were okay because of what they were doing wasn't in the Holy of Holies. They weren't, but Jesus is like, this whole place is for the worship of God, which I think is just like he wants our whole hearts. Anything else? Should we flip tables? If someone's selling something downstairs in church.
Like Bonnie blankets. Donate $20 to
Okay,
Bonnie
I was thinking
Blanket.
about this. We do the money wall. What's the envelope wall? Like there's money being exchanged in church.
It's donation.
It's donation, not.
Yeah.
Free willing, kindly forced donation.
But also, when you're a little kid, have you gotten yelled at for running in the house of God?
Yes.
Yes.
Do people still think of the church building as the house of God? Yes. I think that is like, should we be respectful of this place that's owned by the church? This is a special building. It's a special building because it's dedicated to where the church gathers. But like we've been talking about in Acts, like this is not the church. You are the church. People are the church. This is the building the church owns. And God doesn't dwell in this building. He dwells in our hearts. But some of these same ideas are applied to the building. I don't know if that's always great. Yes.
It says football field in the corner.
It's because
Oh, it's
Yeah,
that
that's
black
the size.
square is the size of a football field. So there wasn't a football field in the temple, if that's what you're asking.
So the Gentiles' court was many acres.
Yeah, so that's a size comparison.
So if you go to Israel now, this is called Temple Mount, and this whole raised area is still there. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And there's like a mosque on
Yes.
there, and there
What
is
is left?
Right now,
What of the temple is left?
and like the
Nothing.
Wailing Wall.
Nothing.
none of this is there. There's a shrine here. There's a Muslim shrine here, and there's a Muslim mosque here.
And
So
people,
the
the-
court, what
so-
about the courtyard walls?
This is
The
why
walls are still there.
the Jews come
Yes.
and they pray there. They have the Wailing Wall. They don't go up because
The-
it's not.
The
under
Jews,
occupation.
if you've ever heard of the Wailing Wall, is the western wall on this side. They come here to the wall and these massive buildings, bricks of the wall, and they come there, which is close to where the Holy of Holies. But good Jews won't even go up here anymore because it's been desecrated as a Muslim site. So Muslims now own this and
It's called
have
Temple Mount.
What is the
a
courtyard
mosque.
made of? Is it just stone?
It's
or is it
all
marble?
stone. It's all raised. Herod. So this is the same site as the Solomon temple that was built, and then it was destroyed. And then in Ezra and Nehemiah was rebuilt, but not very well, not to the glory of Solomon. But then King Herod came in and put a lot of work into this. So what most of that exists now is what Herod put in. There are some, you can see two different types of stones in the walls that are like older and then newer. And so that the older is the original, possibly Solomon ones or Ezra Nehemiah ones. And then Herod's big ones that he rebuilt it. But
Was
there's
any of it made of marble?
limestone,
Limestone.
I think, is what I remember. All right.